And I was like, hey, like, I would like to be a part of this wedding expo. And she's like, well, what's your business? And I was like, well, it's a mobile bartending business, but out of a horse trailer. She's like, that's a first. That's awesome. That would be great. Yes, we would love to have you. And so I did that. And I was 9 months pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant at Little America. And then my son came in February of 2023.
So you're at the expo.
Yes.
9 months pregnant.
Yes.
Showing off your mobile bartending.
Yes, yeah.
That's hilarious.
How do you start a business when the state doesn't even know what your business does? That is what we talk about with Cassidy Nation at Sippin Sassy. And this is the Voices on the Wind podcast. My name is Maverick, and my father.
And I'm Toby Lyles, the father of my esteemed son, Maverick Lyles. Mm-hmm. Today, I'm very excited to share the story of Cassidy Nation of Sippin Sassy.
I came up with the idea in late 2020, and I told my mom about it. I was like, I just think it'd be so fun and so cute and stuff. And so she's like, yeah, it's cute. Well, at that time, we owned my grandma's house that was up in Risk Canyon, and she was driving up to maintain it and clean it out and stuff because my grandma had a lot of stuff. And she drove past this little blue trailer on the side of the road about 3 weeks later, about a month later, and sent me a picture, and she's like, what about this one? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I love it. My favorite color's blue, and I just loved it instantly. It was just so cute, and the colors really popped, and it just had such a personality that I feel like it just needed to have a little bit of a revamp. And so she sent it to me, and that was kind of really the start of, I'm like, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? So
Okay.
And so that kind of encouraged me to kind of really jump headfirst into it and start it. So
Okay, so you're working at your mom's storage. Mm-hmm. And you're watching her be an entrepreneur. You've got entrepreneurship in your family.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of ideas all day long? Or how did the Sippin Sassy idea come?
Not necessarily. Basically, I saw a modified camper that was turned into a coffee shop. And I thought it was so cute. And I'm like, that's adorable. I was like, and that would it'd do really good here too. I've thought about doing it, but my husband's like, I'm not building any more trailers right now. And I'm like, okay, fine. Fair enough. And so I was like, we live in a very Western world, and I grew up in a very Western environment. My mom has an exact same trailer. It's just a 4-head, so it's a lot longer. And so I grew up north of town. Just kind of showing steers and having that Western background. We rodeoed and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what? Like Wyoming, like horses, like a horse trailer would be great. And so that's where I kind of was like, we're going to push on the horse trailer idea for a while. And then my mom sent me that one because I had brought it up. And I talked to my husband, who was, back then he was just my boyfriend, but we had dated for 2.5 years. And I was like, what do you think of this idea? Because like, obviously I knew that he was going to be the one to help me do it. Because he's also a very handy guy, one of a kind. And so I was like, what do you think of it? And he was like, just do it. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. A lot of my family owns businesses. And so I felt like it was always in the cards for me. I just didn't know where.
Okay.
And so when I kind of got the idea, and I really got a passion behind it, I think that's kind of where it really set in that I wanted to do something for myself and own something for myself. So
you get this idea for a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom helps you find a trailer faster than you expected.
Yes. Yeah.
And then kind of like a team, it sounds like. Everybody, gathers together.
Yeah.
Giving you money, helping you paint it, and electricity and welding and the whole making a trailer out of this.
Yes, yeah.
And we haven't mentioned that you have 2 young ones somewhere in the middle of this.
I do, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started Sippin Sassy in 2022, in August of 2022. And so really where it came about was I bought the trailer in 2020, in late 2020, and we started remodeling it in 2021. And then the election happened, presidents changed, the economy kind of went a little wild there, and it became really expensive. And so I was like, well, we're going to take a few months off because I don't know. I only have a limited amount of funds to redo it. And if I run out, I run out. And if it's not complete, then it's not complete and I can't utilize it. And so we took a break off there. And then come 2021, the fall of 2021, my husband, my boyfriend at the time, he asked me to marry him. So he became my fiance. And so I was like, oh my God, we have to have it done for our wedding. I was like, I want it done. I want it debuted in our wedding. And so that was a big part of it. And I wanted it in our wedding. And so we really picked up kind of at the beginning of 2022 because we got married in September of 2022.
Okay.
And in the mix of that, I got pregnant with my son. And so that's where my husband really came into action because a lot of the painting and the chemicals that was on there, I couldn't touch. And so a lot of that he had to do just kind of solo. And I did kind of the tedious kind of basic work. And so we finished it in August of 2022 when I went down and got my business license, and it was debuted in our wedding. And all while being pregnant, we went through 2022 was a slow start because I didn't really want to get too ahead of myself being pregnant because it was my first pregnancy and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And so I didn't really gear up and start booking events until 2023. And I did the wedding expo here in Cheyenne. I contacted Katie. She's great. I love her. She's out of Laramie. I contacted her and I was like, hey, I would like to be a part of this wedding expo. And she's like, well, what's your business? And I was like, well, it's a mobile bartending business, but out of a horse trailer. She's like, that's a first. That's awesome. That would be great. Yes, we would love to have you. And so I did that. And I was 9 months pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant at Little America. And then my son came in February of 2023.
So you're at the expo.
Yes.
9 months pregnant.
Yes.
Showing off your mobile bartending.
Yes. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Was it somewhere in that area was there anything that was just like disappointing, frustrating,
Yes, there were plenty of times. Yeah. So there were a lot of setbacks in the building. Just because we self-engineered it, we did it ourselves, we handcrafted it, and there were some things that engineering-wise, we weren't sure how to do it. So finding companies for that, not coming from an industry of where do I get my, 6-foot spring or my 6-foot hinge to make the bar top go down and up and stuff like that so we can use it. That was a big challenge because finding those companies and not paying an arm and leg for this stuff, being a small business, that was definitely a challenge. And then I would say also the licensing and the idea of it with the county, the city, the state, all of that was kind of a challenge because they hadn't heard of the idea before. And so it was a new concept to them. And so they were kind of just going off of what they had heard. And so I had to talk to a lot of people. Pitching the concept to the city clerk and the county clerk and the Wyoming Liquor Division and the Department of Revenue and just pitching it to them. I talked to 15 different people in each department and everybody told me something different. So I think it was such a new concept that they kind of were just going off of the rules that they had, and my husband says that I paved the way for all the other trailers. Yeah. And I don't know necessarily if I would say that, but it was definitely, there were a lot of hurdles and a lot of people to talk to and going through that aspect of it and not getting a liquor license. And so with the city clerk's office, the one lady was like, well, I'll have to see if you can even do that here. And I'm like, really? Are you serious? And so when I went to the Wyoming Department of Revenue and talked to that gal, she's like, no, you have state approval. You're good. And I was like, okay, cool.
So this is a great interview, and I'm interrupting it for another good story. We're just remembering a fun story about me playing with electronics and burning my braces, messing with wires. You guys have a much better way. I've got Janae Vodakovich of Edge Flight, and we're talking about STEM kits for kids.
Yeah, that's what I like about Edge Flight is that we are a STEM educational kit. So the students between junior high and high school can take the whole kit. It's bagged and tagged, and they can put it all together. So they can learn the engineering, the math, the STEM part, electronics, Arduino. And so they can learn how to do it themselves, and they can learn a lot. And then they can, another way of thinking, that's partly what I like about our kit, is it's another way to think. It gets their brains engaged, gets them that confidence, the curiosity of, oh, this is something I can do. And so then they can put it all together. It has the curriculum, even YouTube videos that they can go by, and they can do it themselves. I think that's the other side of this that I like about Edge Flight's kits.
That is incredible. I wish I had that when I was a kid. I wish I had that when I was homeschooling my kids, because you just give them a box and then just open up this world of curiosity.
Yes.
If someone's going to contact or find this, where do they go?
edgeflight.com/VOTW.
Just to recap here, you're working with your mom.
Yeah.
You get this idea to do I think it sounds like you saw the horse trailer before you figured you got the idea of the vehicle before what's in the vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to do bartending, mobile bartending.
Yeah.
Maybe because there's some for everything, but
Yeah.
you care about weddings in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of this, you start having kids and prices skyrocket because of political factors.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you have to wrestle with the city.
Yes.
And you have to wrestle with the engineering of the trailer.
Yeah. Another challenge that was a big one was finding insurance. Finding insurance for my business was a challenge because there were a lot of people. As a new business, I only had so much because I hadn't done any events, but I had to have the insurance before I could do it. And so I didn't have a ton of money to spend on insurance. And I had called company after company after company, and they're like, it's going to cost you like $3,500. And I'm like, I don't have that right now. Because I'm just starting. Like, I have a very tight budget to get started here. And they were like, well, I'm sorry, like, that's what it's going to cost you. So I just called business after business after business. You know, they wanted you to have limited liability insurance and then limited liquor liability insurance. And so that was a big part of finding the liquor liability insurance. It wasn't necessarily the general insurance that was very expensive. It was the liquor liability insurance. And because you're serving alcohol, you may not be providing it, but you're serving it. And so the liquor liability insurance was a big part of where the cost was being driven up so high.
So that sounds like a real challenge.
Yeah, it was. It really, I was like, I'm not going to be able to operate. Like, I don't know how to do it. And so that was a big part of it. Finding the people that could help navigate. And insurance is just such a tricky. You got to say the right things. And Amy was like, no, I love the idea. It's a great business. So let me look around. Let me see what I can get you. So she was really willing to help me out. Most of them were like, well, you know, I know you said you're on a tight budget and your budget is this insurance is pretty high for your tight budget. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, I mean, I'm going to be dipping into my own pocket to do it. And that's the whole goal of Sippin Sassy is you're successful if you don't dip into your own pocket to do it, you know, and Sippin Sassy runs on its own money. So
I love that concept.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You seem like incredibly, the word forceful comes to my head, but not in a negative way, but just like, you know, you're going to pursue on, you're going to preneur it.
Yes.
But was there a time, especially that, you know, all the engineering problems and then it feels like it's easy. Trailer, alcohol, boom.
A lot,
And then you get into it and there's a whole lot more. Was there a time that you were like, maybe we should do coffee? Or maybe we should do, like, maybe I need a whole, like, it's just like, this isn't going to work.
No, there wasn't a time. I just, the idea of being there at people's weddings really sold me on it because I love seeing people get married. I love seeing people commit to each other. And it was a big concept. And I mean, there's coffee at weddings by no means. Everybody has whatever they have. My aunts and my uncle, I come from an Italian family. And when I told my aunt that I wasn't having coffee, she's like, I will bring the coffee pot. Like, I will bring the coffee pot. I will handle the coffee. Don't worry about it, because they like coffee with their cake. And so it's completely up to whatever, like to each of your own, basically. But with weddings, I really like weddings, and I love doing it. And I love working with the couples to really customize the drink selection and help them out and do that aspect. And then I also just love the money saving part of it, because weddings are expensive, and just having an event with alcohol in general is expensive. And so to kind of backdoor that and get around like upcharging people for alcohol and helping them save money so they can use it somewhere else in their event was really one of my big pushers of, I'm like, look at this fantastic concept, you know? I just wanted to do something different, and there was a need for it. That was a big thing about planning our wedding. I noticed, like, because I had a lot of bartending friends, and that's who I hired to run the bar for my wedding, because obviously I didn't want to be working it for my own wedding. And so I was like trying to find a concept of, we thought about putting all of the stuff in a trough. And I'm like, yeah, but then everybody can just go up and grab it freely, and you don't really have any maintenance on it. And I want to do something a little more elevated, a little more elegant than just grabbing it from a horse trough. And so after seeking out my own bartending company, or bartenders, I guess, I realized that there wasn't a big market out there in Cheyenne or even the surrounding areas for it. And that's kind of where I was like, this is a need. Like, this is going to be a good idea. Like, that's when it really clicked with me. Like, I'm like, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a good idea, because there's a need out there, but there's not a business or
there's demand, but there's not really supply.
Yeah, there's not really a supply for it. So yeah.
Good for you.
So I was like, this is going to be fun.
I just don't want to miss your second bar top that you did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You could have just stuck with a trailer.
Yes.
But yeah, what are the opportunities that made you think about that?
So with the trailer, there were a lot of people reaching out for like indoor bartending and stuff that was in smaller spaces. And as much as we love the trailer, she's big, she's bold, but she is beautiful. Or she's big, she's beautiful, and she's bold.
And she's bold, and she doesn't fit inside a building. Yes, and she just
doesn't fit everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the concept of, I'm like, well, I can do the bartending for you, but I don't have a setup. And I'd have to do it off of just like a regular pop-up table, like a regular, 6-foot table. And no, we want something a little fancier than that. I think we're going to look somewhere else. Understandable. I get it. No, my heart's not broken. I understand you want something fancier, especially for weddings, because it's classic. There's a style of classic. And that's kind of what the trailer was. We wanted to make it very classical and very beautiful. And so that was a big part of it. And I was just like, God, I'm missing out on so many events, especially because we live in Wyoming and the weather's not always lovely. And so there's a lot of like fall weddings that people were like, well, the trailer's adorable, but like our venue's indoor and you'd have to be parked on the sidewalk. And we did that. We did that too. That was my second wedding. We were parked outside the Kwanzaa Community House in the parking lot. We did it too. So we do it all. But a big part of it was we were missing out on just so many events that were indoors that the bar would not fit at. And then also sometimes it's not everybody's style. And that's totally fine and understandable. I mean, my style is not everybody's style. And so I was like, I need something that can go inside. But I didn't want to do just a basic pop-up bar table. Because, you can buy them off of Amazon and they get to bar level and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want something unique. Like, I got a unique outdoor bar. I want a unique indoor bar. And so I kind of was looking on Facebook Marketplace, strolling through, kind of seeing what people had because a lot of people make their own like backyard bars. So then I got the idea of just searching whiskey barrel bar tops. So I searched out those and I found one. It was in Nebraska on a farm in the middle of nowhere. The people, they like to entertain and that's why they had it. And they had it up for sale. And so I messaged the lady. I'm like, hey, is this still available? And she's, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, well, I can't come and get it like right now, like, because I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and you're in Nebraska. And so it's going to take me, I have to wait until I get a day off to go get it. I get off, like I have Fridays off. And she's like, okay, well, we're home. You know, they were an older farming couple. And she's like, well, we're home. Like, we're retired. All we do is farm and ranch. And so we're home. And I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can get some people together and see if I can come get it this Friday. And she had a lot of problems with Facebook scammers. So she's like, as long as you're real, I'll give it to you for a better price. And I was like, no, I am real. And I am 100% interested in this bar. I'm telling you, I will be there Friday to pick it up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, as long as the weather's good, I will be there.
Is that motivating?
Yes.
Be like, no, I'm a real person. I swear I'm going to be there on Friday.
Well, and you just, and I have that as a business. As a business, I get scammers too. And you just have to weed them out. But yeah, so she was having trouble with that. And she had a lot of people say, hey, like, I'm going to come get it. And then they never showed up and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'll come get it. I swear. Well, she gives me her address and I punch it in. And it is 300 miles from my house. We load up and we drive, and she lived slightly outside of like Scottsbluff, kind of in like northeast of Scottsbluff. And we're driving down this back road. I'm like, Jesus, this is like in the middle of nowhere. We're driving, and I'm following my GPS on my husband's truck, and we get there, and this older lady comes out, and she's like, are you Cassidy? And I was like, yeah, I'm Cassidy. She's like, I'm so glad to see you're a real person. I was like, thanks. I know. I told you I was. And so we loaded it up, and it is heavy. It is 3 oak barrels cut in half with an oak base and an oak top. So it is all oak, and it is heavy. But we loaded it. We got loaded in the back of the truck and strapped it down and drove another 300 miles home and dropped it in the garage. And that was when it started. I started looking at it and kind of seeing what I wanted to do to it and refurbish it and stuff. And the barrels needed re-oiled. The color that came out in them when I oiled them was just amazing. They brightened up so much. And it was just so loved because, like, I asked them, I was like, what do you guys have it for? And they were like, well, we used to entertain a lot. Like, we liked entertaining. We liked having people over at our house, but we just became too old to do that. So we just don't need it anymore. And it's too heavy for any of us to move. And so we're one it gone. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it was well loved, and it has a history behind it. And I love that about it. Just like the horse trailer, it has a history behind it. It's 7 foot long, so it's a great setup for indoor events and like small backyard. I have in June, I have a rehearsal dinner in a lady's backyard. She seems like so much fun on the phone. When I talked to her, I was like, I like you. I think this is going to be a good event. That's also the other reason why I do it. Like I said, I meet so many people, and I find so many people that I just like click with. And like, I just love the events are always great when you have a good time. Like it's not, if it's not fun, like if I'm not having fun, then I don't feel like my clients and their guests are having fun. So I always love just meeting the people and having a good time with them and building memories along with them. So
yeah, you do. You get to build memories along with people.
Yeah, and that's one of my mottos. I mean, basically, we take special moments and we turn them into cherished memories. So that's one of the things that I enjoy about it.
I mean, I think we all like weddings. I mean, at least most of us. And then, you know, being able to just be there, I don't know, like just be there and like be the person to, you know, how she focuses on helping the people at their weddings. And I feel like, I don't know, for me, that's what I'd be at too. And to see how she does that so well and like really values taking care of the customer, and she takes that that joy of being at a wedding and brings in professional helping people as well as helping, you know, anyone really. And then I think her business is so cool, especially because she made it herself. It's her own idea, her own little table too. I don't know. It's so creative and so fun, and I think we need more just like fun startups like that are just creative. You know, like the government didn't even know what it was. Because it's so unique and the need that is filled. And so I thought, I just really respected that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. When you're doing something that the government has no regulation for, it does not mean that you're doing the right thing, but it could be a good sign that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
At least you're doing something innovative. Of course, it was a lot more work for her, and I really appreciate how she not only went through that, but she just had an incredible attitude.
Yeah.
And it's not, you could have a different attitude. You could be a little grumpy about that.
Yeah.
But she was just like, nope. I pressed through and found the right person. I was just in a meeting the other day, and there's some other issue where people are like, they don't do that. And this guy goes, no, you just haven't found the right person.
Yeah.
Keep looking. And turns out, found the right person.
Yeah.
So she did the same thing. She just kept on going. Just find the right person. She got it. So maybe we all find the right people as we build good things. Until then, my friends, happy sailing.